Tucky Talk.
HuckyTalker. Sportsmanship. Do you have it? I got it.
I got it.
I am full of sportsmanship.
Sports.
I am heavy in sportsmanship.
I do the sports ball. Do you do the sports ball?
I can.
I wasn't asking you.
Oh. Sorry.
Wow.
So we're going to talk a little bit about today, continuing our college football. We'll probably talk about the ratings and stuff like that, and the rankings, not ratings. I don't care about ratings. We'll be focused on the rankings a little bit and stuff like that, but we wanted to talk about a little bit about the beginning of the year. We've mentioned last video that I'm a huge Florida State fan, and
He is.
and
It's true.
It's very true. And one of the special things that we got to do, because last year I got shitted out of it due to the fact that there was a Hurricane Irma that came into place, was I was not able to go to a Florida State game, and it really bummed me out, and I really wanted to. So my family got together, and my grandfather owns tickets, season tickets, so we got to go to Florida State this year, and we went to the Samford game. And for the most part, the Florida State experience going up there, seeing the marching band, one of my favorite marching bands of all time is the Marching Chiefs there, and I think Greg can now understand why. They're just funny, hilarious.
Yeah, the University of Florida State's marching band was, or I should say Florida State University's marching band. Sorry, Universities are really particular about the way you say their name, depending on which university it is.
Kind of a big deal. That's why. We're actually talking more about sportsmanship because as much fun as it was for me to go back to Florida State, and there's a lot of things that happened during that game. There was the weather delay. There was the...
you call that fun?
Well, I mean, that's fun, but it was also kind of like
That's
annoying.
part of the experience, I guess.
Part of the experience, and we had a good time.
Yeah.
Anyways, the game was really late. But we ended up leaving the game early, not because it was really late, which was a big thing, but it was just because the entire experience, the entire drought of the game felt disgusting at the end of the game. And there's a lot of reasons why I think that happened, but the biggest thing that I want to point out, and even to my fellow Florida State fans, is that, boy, have you guys become privileged in your winning seasons in your programs. Like, seriously, like, we like, this season isn't a bad season. The season is not a season that I like to see Florida State do. Obviously, I like to see Florida State become undefeated. I like to see Florida State become an amazing program. I like to see them do a lot of cool stuff, but there are so many programs that would scream and kill to be Florida State and put them in the situation, the position that they're in. And this is like the first 2 years we've ever seen Florida State since Bobby Bowden not have winning and super productive years where we're struggling and scraping to barely make a bowl. I don't know any other program that has gone through the giant legacy that we've gone through. And you listen to the people that go on like sports anchors and talking about that, and it makes Florida State fans sound pompous, arrogant, and privileged. It really, really does. And there's going to have to come to a level where, like, you got to get over yourselves. We both come from Western Michigan University, where, you know, the MAC is not anywhere respected like any other Power 5 conference or any kind of thing like that. Like, the fact that we can get a bowl game makes us go, oh my god, we got a bowl!
We're going to the Carmine Bowl this year.
We're going to the Idaho Potato Bowl!
Dude, Beef O'Brady Bowl.
Beef O'Brady.
Let's go! Where is that?
Not to bash on bowls, because I mean, I'm really happy when we do really go to them.
Actually, no, I have things to say about how many freaking bowls there are nowadays, because it's not even special to go to a bowl game anymore sometimes.
True. I mean, that is kind of true.
Because there are 5 and 7 teams that are going to bowls, but no, we're not on that discussion today. Yeah, but Florida State, my experience being a first-time person, I'll go first because Leo has more to say about it.
Oh, yes.
So we started off the day just going up there. We visited your meme.
Which my grandmother.
Which, she's an awesome lady. She's really funny. We got to go to the pregame festivities for the Florida State game at a Doak Campbell Stadium, and that was a lot of fun. We got to go to the pregame for the marching band itself, where they're all getting warmed up and practicing, and they do a lot of festivities. I mean, they're huge traditions out of a university like Florida State. where they've been around for forever, and their marching band is as much of a part of the football program as the football team itself. And you really feel that when you're there. You go. We went there on a particularly busy day for the band because it was their band day where they invite high schoolers from all over Florida and all over the region. And there are thousands of high school students there learning about music, learning about the band program itself at Florida State, learning about what it's like to be in a college program. And man, there's not very many other places that I feel like you could go as a high schooler and learn as much as you do there, and to see as much as you do and get. I would have been so hyped if I had gone to a Florida State game day for that. So to set the tone for the game, we hinted at the game didn't go as expected, and Samford just came out swinging their fist at Florida State, whom, granted, they're doing really badly this season. They were not a team for the first 2 or 3 games, and now they're trying to become a team.
Yeah,
and it's so chaotic. This FCS school, Samford, they came to play.
Yeah, they did.
They came out swinging their fists at Florida State.
The first play, they went down the field, and our safeties were not ready for it, and they just shot it down the field perfectly. Wonderful spiral. One play. Perfectly wonderful spiral down the field. And the thing that made me mad instantly was oh, that's disappointing. That sucks. But it's the first game, and no one really even complained all that much. Then the next drive happened where we get the ball back, and nothing happens. And I start hearing some grumbling in the stands going oh, this sucks. It sucks. And I hear that and it does suck because I'm there too. I complained about my team and I get frustrated with them and I go why are you not catching the ball? That stuff doesn't bother me. But it came after drive after drive. First and second quarter it started getting worse and worse, and then I start noticing we're behind 14 to something. I don't even remember the exact numbers of what we were
behind by 14 at one point.
Yeah, we were behind by 14 at one point, and it's getting close to the end, and I think one of us wanted to just throw, our fans wanted just to see us throw a bomb down the field because we're obviously better players than these guys, and we ended up running the ball down the middle, and it sucked. And it's okay, that sucks. But then all of a sudden I hear an ovation of boos from the stands.
At the team.
Just an atrocious level of boos that echoes the stadium. And I instantly felt enraged by that. That's not what you do. That's not how you handle discrepancy. That's not how you handle your emotions. Yeah, it sucks. It may not be the play call you wanted, but guess what? This is a new team. This is a new team with a new coach and a new program. I kind of was bashing even last week, and after I was listening to the video, I kind of was I might have been a little bit too hard on even PJ Fleck in Minnesota when I mentioned what have they done? They've done nothing since they've been there, and to extent, yeah, they really haven't. But that's what happens.
and then they went and beat up on Indiana.
Yeah,
week.
I know. And then, but that happens though. That happens with new programs, and new programs take time. The reason why Jimbo Fisher walked into Florida State and did so well was because he was an interim coach that took over Bobby Bowden's winning program. Sure, Bobby Bowden wasn't winning a national championship next year with the team that he made, but he was having a winning program, and he had recruiting that was going all the way up until Jameis Winston's era when he got recruited and joined Florida State. I'm not saying Jimbo Fisher didn't do a good job. He did a good job. Obviously, he did a good job. He got us a national championship game. Even if you are a crappy coach, you can't just sneak your way into a national championship game. You just really can't. You do actually have to do your job. I'm not saying anything to go after Jimbo Fisher or even say that it was just all Bobby Bowden and all that stuff. I'm not saying that either. But Willie Taggart came in from a situation, in a toxic situation with Jimbo Fisher. Mm-hmm. It was toxic when they left. The players were arguing with each other. The coach staff was arguing with each other. People were not sure where people were standing and stuff. When a coach decides, he's done with the place, sometimes he scourges the place that he recently was part of. That usually happens sometimes with programs. And when it does, teams go in these tremendous droughts. You want to know one of the best droughts that you want to look at? Look at Notre Dame. Talk to them about what they've been doing in the past decade. They've been struggling just to make things work. And this year is the first year they got to see the fruits of their labor truly come developed. Mm-hmm. And it's because it takes time to develop good programs. So the first year you come in after having such a pretty rough season, knowing all the drama that happened with Jimbo Fisher and all this stuff, you just expect Willie Taggart to just be an amazing god of a coach and have amazing programs? No, it takes time.
What do you mean? He should have recruited all the things for the past 4 years, all the players. He should have,
exactly, right?
He should have all the players on his finger because he recruited all of them under his mantras. And no, he didn't do any of that. Yeah. Shut up.
You go to Bobby Bowden's era, he didn't have tarnishes. He didn't have terrible games. The worst loss he ever had was a 4-6 Virginia when he played. Like they just did.
Really?
He did that was one of the worst games that tarnished his record at times. There's the other games where they didn't do so well, and there were some losses against teams that were really, really good, or even just on the fence good. Like they're like, oh yeah, they had a good average season, but like a losing team that came in and beat Florida was the first team actually in ACC history to beat Florida State since they joined the ACC, and it was Virginia. Virginia was the first team to ever do it, and they were like 4-6 or something like that. They weren't even that good, and that became like the worst tarnish on the record. But Bobby Bowden was a legacy coach who did legacy programs, and you see that with Nick Saban now. You see that with, unfortunately, Urban Meyer now. Like these programs that do really, really well and don't lose to teams that they don't have any business losing to. So I just hear nonstop boos. I see people on Twitter. I see people on Facebook. Even like I went onto the Twitter, at Doe Campbell's Twitter and everything like that. And I'm seeing people putting in comments who's like, Willie Taggart, I hope you don't plan on staying in Tallahassee for very long. Really? Because he almost lost to an FCS school? That now he gets only 3 games and you're out, right? That's how that works? Like, I know this has been kind of going on, and even yesterday, just to date the video again, Clemson destroyed us at our own house and everything like that. And I was hearing the nonstop booing. I was hearing the nonstop yelling in the fans. I was seeing the looking on people's faces. I'm like, guys, you lost to number 2 Clemson, who's doing pretty damn good this year.
What I have heard happen in the past with universities like Alabama, Georgia, if, a field goal kicker misses a field goal at the end of a game, like the rivalry game with Auburn or something like that. It's a huge game. It's like they're both ranked like 5 and 10 in the nation or something like that. It has huge college playoff implications. And Alabama loses to Auburn because, they just go back and forth every season, it seems like. Mm-hmm. And the kicker himself is getting death threats from the fans.
I know, that's
How is that okay?
Guys,
do you understand what you're threatening him over? How dare you miss that field goal of this game that doesn't have any realistic implication on what's happening in our actual lives?
Yeah, that's the thing I want to make it very clear is that there's 22 players on each side, realistically, and in any given point on the field at one time. And these guys perform to become professionals and to either focus on their schooling at university, or they're playing and they're just playing to have fun with it, or they're trying to become professional NFL players. And these players are doing the best that they can and the caliber of what they're doing. And sure, you can be disappointed. I'm very disappointed when, like, this is dating a little bit better, like the first year or like even the second year PJ Fleck came in with the Western Michigan, and we took on Toledo, and we should have beat them at their game, and we kick a field goal and just bounces off the end zone.
That was the first year.
That was
the first year
kick
where
a field
lost.
goal. We could have beaten Toledo and made that like our one victory be Toledo, which would have been awesome. And it's just boink doink, just bounces off, and it's frustrating and it's crazy. But even that guy got a death threat from a team that we're losing every single one of our games. Are you kidding me? We hide behind a screen and act like our actions or statements just don't frickin' matter. Like nothing we do matters, like at all. Like we can say statements we can because we're angry, we're mad at people. All of a sudden you can yell and do whatever you want and go after this person. I don't know how many times I can list off where I can be like, I bet that football player is going to a counselor and talking about depression issues. Because
this is their, I always say it's like, it's just a game. Well, at the same time, if you're out there giving your all for college football,
it's just a game
all
for
the time,
us.
It's not just a game for them. It's it's part of their livelihood. It's part of their identity. It's part of their identity. What they strive to do every day. They're really, you have a lot of pride.
You just have a lot of hopeful dreams that come into place and doing the things that you do. And even if it is something that is attached to your identity, being a jock or a sports player or any kind of like even not football, but like hockey or soccer or baseball or anything like that.
Yeah.
This becomes part of your identity. It becomes who you are. When people see you or attach your name to something, they attach your name to the sports icon. If I say Cam Newton, what do you think of? The football player.
Yeah.
That's immediately the thing you think. The football player. That's immediately where you go to.
The quarterback for the
quarterback
Panthers.
for Carolina Panthers. That is the guy. That's who he is. And that's the identity that gets created with all this stuff. And these players may not actually be at that level, but if they are, they aren't at that level. They're doing what they can to produce the thing that they're trying to make.
Exactly.
And the only thing that we can do as fans is give them nothing but absolute support. So that's what you do when you come to a game. When you come to a game, you don't just spectate the game and be like, and like it's kind of like that weird thing at Fever Pitch where he's the announcer for Tonight Show now. I'm forgetting his name.
You're talking about Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon. When he was when he played in the movie Fever Pitch, he's a huge Red Sox fan, and he's like always about going to Red Sox games. And he like goes like, I really need to go to that Red Sox game because the team needs me. No, they don't. They don't need you. They need their fans. You are part of that fan group. You are part of that identity. And sure, it's nice for you to come and nice for you to support the program, but truly what they need is the program that they're developing. And if you support it, if you love it, if you want to be part of it, you support it by being constructive and being there for them, being the team that you want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't go there and boo them and tell them how much you're disappointed with them and how you need to give them a very sternly worded email to their team saying how much you're not doing enough for the team. That's bullshit. That's the coach's job. That's everything else. Fans don't give a... Fans are not there to make you a better program. Fans are there to help you by showing you support. And ironically, fans can't necessarily help you win the national championship game, but they can definitely hurt your chances from making it by you being slanderous and derogatory and demeaning. Be nicer to each other. Seriously, be nicer to each other. Be nicer to the programs you like.
So I had a good example just this week, actually. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he's an older guy. He's like in his 50s. And he had season tickets to one of the colleges around here, a pretty small one, Florida Southwestern University. They have a college basketball program that, they're really good. A lot of people around here like going to their games because they win a lot. Mm-hmm. And he had season tickets to it. And so he would sit right behind the home team's bench every year. And he would just, like, talk to the players when they're, like, not on the court, like the bench players. And they would rotate in. He would talk to them a bunch. And he would just have a good time with them. He'd help bring them up. Because he loves the sport. Like this coworker of mine loves the sport, so he sits behind them and he loves jabbing, like talking and like jabbering with people and doing that kind of thing. He has a lot of things to say all the time, and he loved it. And at the end of the season, the players were like, "Oh man, we're gonna miss you after the season," because they all go to different places and stuff like this. People graduate, they go away, and they had like a championship season last year too. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss you guys too," and that, that's like the epitome of what we're talking about right now. Is you're there for your team, and it's really rare when you actually have the opportunity to like interact with them and get to know them on more of a personal level, like he did. And I just thought that was a really cool story.
Also, while we were there, we were honoring a death of a proud Seminole who played at Florida State.
So cool.
We did all these kind of cool stuff there. He, if you hear, I'm going to say the name, and you're probably going to know who it is. Not because of a Florida State fan, and probably may not even realize that he was part of Florida State or anything like that. But Burt Reynolds, like Burt Reynolds was a guy that was all about the Seminoles, all about supporting. He loved Bobby. They constantly did stuff together. He was one of our greatest advocates. He made Florida State, Doak Campbell Stadium look the way it does because of all the funding and all the things that he's helped fundraise and programs and stuff. You give a lot of credit to that kind of a man because he was all about the Seminoles.
And I had no idea he was a part of the Seminoles.
Yeah, he was a huge man, and of course he just passed away right before this game. And so they were like, let's just honor Burt. The marching band's going to play the fight song for Burt in his name. They played Smokey and the Bandits theme song there and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I hear a fan, sitting behind me after all this is going on, going, Smokey and the Bandit's gay. Be responsible. Be responsible who you are. Show respect. Show admiration. Be like, oh, this sucks. You can vent that this sucks. I don't know how many times I was yelling at the fans going like, stop running the damn ball. I say that sometimes. Like, it happens. Like, I get mad about that. Like, there's plays that obviously are just not working. I know you're trying to do it so you can see if it works, and you do a lot of plays sometimes, even in games, just to see if something will make a breakthrough, or if you're seeing something, you want to put it on footage to see what's going wrong and stuff like that. I get the strategy of it. I really, really do. But if you want to win a game, now's not the time to do that.
Yeah.
Throw the ball, do run plays, but that's also decisions on coach's part. You can get frustrated and you could be a fan and not like that, but respect them and be like, do it classy. Just say that what you say why you're frustrated. Just don't be like, you fucking suck.
Yeah, your program's gay because you didn't build a play I wanted.
I think that's pretty much good for the topic. Sportsmen, treat people respectfully. Treat your teams respectfully. Be true to your school. Go back to Beach Boys. Be true to your school.
Beach Boys?
Mm-hmm. That's the name of their
school.
We'll listen to it later.
Bye. Gonna end with a screech.